Yo guys, what is up? It is Alex or Black Eye here. I have a small task for you guys before I go into today's topic. Go to twitch.tv, go to the Smite directory to see everyone streaming Smite, then sort it by viewers, highest to lowest. Look at the channels. Are there a few channels that seem different from the rest? A few that just stick out like a sore thumb. If you guess the channels that start with something along the lines of 24/7 drops, then you're a winner! Congratulations! I will be sending you a cookie and they will get to you in 3 to 5 business days. Just a heads up, they are raisin cookies. I believe these 24/7 drop channels are harmful to Smite and its community, and that's what we'll be discussing today. Before going any further, I completely understand that I am indirectly advertising these channels by talking about them, even if it's in a negative light. That's just how this type of YouTube content goes sometimes. Yeah, it kinda sucks, but at the end of the day, I'm willing to trade criticizing something for whatever advertisement they might gain from that criticism. I will try my best to intentionally leave the names of these channels out, as I do not want people behind these channels succeeding any more than they currently are. So what are 24/7 drop channels anyway? Well, Smite has a partnership with Twitch, where anyone streaming Smite under the Smite category can enable drops for their channel. This allows people to earn in-game Smite rewards through a currency called viewer points, simply by just, well, watching their live stream. Viewer points can then be spent on in-game cosmetics such as avatars, global emotes, or even skins. You have probably figured out what these 24/7 drop channels are by now. It's just essentially a live stream that is live for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with the intent being to provide a place for Smite fans to consistently have a stream for obtaining viewer points. Most of them have little to do with the actual game, and usually consist of like 25% of the screen dedicated to a Smite logo, or a Smite skin or god, with the other 75% consisting of something else completely unrelated. Some have games that just aren't Smite for chat to interact with, or literally have nothing at all. But why is this harmful to Smite and its community? Well, there are two reasons. Firstly, these channels are taking lurkers from other streamers that are actually putting in effort into their own live stream. I understand that there's no reasonable way to obtain meaningful data on how much these channels impact the Smite community on Twitch, but it's not a stretch to assume that it has some negative impact. I've seen some of these channels have over 1,000 viewers, and I know it's unrealistic to assume that these 1,000 people would all flock to different, smaller streamers. But that being said, I don't believe it's a stretch to assume that some of them would, which in turn would boost smaller creators. Secondly, it just makes Smite as a game look bad when multiple of the top channels are 24/7 drop streams. Those are what I believe to be the two most objective downsides of these channels that don't really have much counter-argument to it. The channels are also criticized for being low effort, and pretty much anyone with basic knowledge of streaming can get a similar stream setup. Not saying everyone that does this will find success, but I don't think you can say that these channels put a lot of effort into it. All you need is some simple preparation and a stable internet connection. Again, not really a criticism, but it is frustrating for creators to see something low effort find more success than higher effort content. Higher effort content being, well, literally anyone actually playing the game. I also want to emphasize that even if Hi-Rez wanted to take action against these live streams, I don't think they could. Unless they have a contact at Twitch, which they might, they don't really have a say on whether these streams are allowed to exist or not. Hi-Rez only has control over their own game, and only in extreme cases have they taken action against people for making content on their game. The only example I can think of is DM Brandon, where they deplatformed him in terms of making Smite content. Even if they decided to ban people on Smite itself for hosting these live streams, nothing is stopping them from doing it. I've had this topic on the back of my mind and was waiting for a good opportunity to make a video on these channels. And in early October, I was given that opportunity. That is because the official Smite game channel did multiple, extremely long live streams with essentially nothing going on in the actual stream. The titles are a series of question marks, and some of these streams went for over 18 hours long. I want to take a second to say if you're watching this, there's a good chance that you aren't subscribed. I'd really appreciate your subscription if you haven't, but even if you don't want to, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Okay, back to the actual content. People quickly took notice, and many viewed these streams as similar to the 24/7 drop channels we just discussed, and Hi-Rez in turn received some criticism. Active chatters in the stream were very confused as well. Some people genuinely thought that Hi-Rez just forgot to turn off the live stream. In fact, people were literally asking if this was just a 24/7 drop stream. Although, the streams weren't the exact same each time around. It began with a dark room with a flickering TV, then they turned the lights on to reveal the entire room, and then they added some more things such as a conch shell and revealing what was behind the static on the TV. The reality of the situation is that this is supposed to be a teaser for the next god that Smite is releasing, but the fact that they decided to make a teaser in the same vein as something that people are actively criticizing rubbed the community the wrong way, myself included. And that's essentially where the situation stands as of this video being uploaded. Before giving my full opinion, I'd like to take some accountability. As I just said, it did rub me the wrong way, and I made a tweet expressing some frustrations. Specifically, I called this act highly disappointing, shameful, and called it an unofficial 24/7 drop stream. I also said that if this were a teaser, it was very lazy and out of touch. I still stand by most of what I said, although after taking some more time to think and seeing other perspectives, I want to take back the word shameful, and I also believe that it might just not be as big of a deal as I initially thought. People were pretty quick to call me out and pointed out that Hi-Rez has done similar teasers in the past, specifically listing Umoja, and that this was just poor timing and execution on Hi-Rez's part, which I agree with. Yeah, it's supposed to be a teaser, and they have done similar teasers in the past, and therefore I apologize for my use of the word shameful and assuming that Hi-Rez was just blatantly condoning 24/7 drop channels. I'm not going to delete the tweet as I still stand by a lot of what I said, especially when it comes to this teaser concept in general. I don't think the fact that Hi-Rez has done similar teasers in the past makes the situation okay, especially given the context that there are a lot of complaints about the Smite game channel content outside of SPL and patch notes shows, but that's an entirely different video. My issue stands with how out of touch Hi-Rez seems to be and how poorly the idea was executed. I really do believe that Hi-Rez is aware of the hate for 24/7 drop channels, not because of the engagement content about them has been getting, but because even Olympians have spoken up about them, people that Hi-Rez follow and have regular communications with. So for them to see this hate, then think it's a good idea for a teaser that would be multiple 18+ hour live streams with little content in them, speaks to me that they either didn't care about whatever backlash they'd get, or that they genuinely are out of touch with their community. I'll even make the argument that the idea is fine on its own, but they just went about it in the worst way possible. For example, why didn't they just have it play only in between SPL sets or matches? Why not have it only play for an hour or two in the middle of the night when nobody is normally live? Why not just have someone come in and change something every 1 to 2 hours instead of once a day? They could have made the streams more front-loaded with teasers so less people were initially confused. Why not change the title from day to day, hinting more and more at the God release? And finally, they could have just turned off drops during these long teaser streams. That way nobody could compare it to those 24/7 drop streams because, well, drops aren't enabled. All of these suggestions would accomplish the same thing that Hi-Rez wanted to with this teaser, just without any of the backlash. With what they're doing right now, once people figured out it was a teaser, all it did was turn the Smite game channel into an unofficial 24/7 drop stream, which again just looks bad since it's at the top of the Smite category on Twitch. I suppose this teaser wasn't the bare minimum they could have been doing, as they could have just kept the same scenery for the entirety of the weekend, but only changing it once a day is like just barely above the actual minimum effort required to pull it off. But you know what? This questionable teaser is doing exactly what Hi-Rez wants it to do. Make people talk about Smite. I'm fairly confident that this wasn't done poorly on purpose, even if I believe it was executed poorly, but regardless, people are talking about it. The point of these teasers and marketing campaigns are to get more people invested in Smite, and that's exactly what it did, even if the talks aren't all entirely positive. There's always the saying that all publicity is good publicity, and that's exactly what happened with this teaser. So whether it's intended or not, props to Hi-Rez for accomplishing that goal. I know there are tons of people with differing opinions than me, and my initial perspective changed after reading about other interpretations, so I'd like to pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts on 24/7 drop channels? And also, what are your thoughts on this teaser Hi-Rez is pushing for the weekend? As always, just try to keep things civil. Finally, I don't really judge people that do participate in lurking in these 24/7 drop streams, but if you're going to lurk, I just please ask you to lurk in somebody else's stream. Even if you aren't actively chatting, a new viewer or two could be night and day for some people. Personally, my 3 go-to streams are Ducky, Kitten of Doom, and my good friend Arayanos. These are the 3 streams that I usually lurk in to get viewer points, and I'm sure they'd appreciate your lurk too. This has been Black Eye. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
these are just stories. This shit's still so cold when it drop, it's gonna be a motherfucking snow